Everybody, welcome to another awesome episode of the MD Power Hour, starring this man in front of you all the way from the United Kingdom, Giles Tiger Thomas, and me over here in the Boston, Mass area, Ron Harris. We're here to talk today about the European Pro happening this Sunday in Alicante, Spain, where they have a pro show about every other week, it seems. And this is a rematch of sorts is going to occur. We typically don't get to see two guys go head to head after they had a fierce battle, but let's start there because we're going to see it immediately. We saw Regan Grimes have to take second place to Nathan DeAsher making his comeback, and that was his 10th pro win. Is that right?
10th pro win, yeah.
Pro win, got his Olympic qualification. I had no problem with Nathan winning. Not the biggest Nathan or fullest Nathan I've ever seen, but the conditioning, granted hard. Very impressed with Regan. Condition could have been a little bit better. He's getting some flack, as we've pointed out. The Instagram pictures looked a lot better than what we ended up seeing on stage. When I was looking at those last few days on Instagram that Milos was posting, I'm like, oh my God, this is the best condition a human being's ever been in. And not to say he wasn't out of shape at all, but it wasn't that. That's not what we saw. So talk to me about the battle because you watched the show and you interviewed Nathan both before the show and after the show. You've got a little insight and perspective here. So talk to me, Giles.
Well, Ron, like I said last week, you can't take those filters on stage, mate.
Mm.
You can't. And I knew exactly that was going to happen because, he's he's a social media kind of Regan. I mean, he's a very social media kind of centric bodybuilder. So he's always going to he's probably taking hundreds of pictures and then filtering them and everything like that. But, I mean, don't get me wrong, though. I thought Regan looked absolutely fantastic. It's the best Regan I've seen for a while. In fact, in the back shots, wow. I did a prejudging, like a live review with Derek yesterday for Global, which is out tomorrow. I'm just literally just been editing it today. And the back shots, I was like, you can hear me go, wow, real bicep, real lats, but very wide. But Nathan just had him on thickness, on density. I mean, it's always Nathan's shoulders I can never stop looking at. They're just so freaky. And he's got that real pop to his physique. Nathan said, I'm sure he said in the full interview, I'm sure he said he was 254 at 5'8".
Wow.
So he's not, maybe because we haven't seen him on stage for a year or so. Maybe just the other guys are getting bigger. I don't know. But I thought, yeah, he looks smaller and more streamlined, but the
Yeah.
conditioning's better. He's also brought his waist in, which I think made his ab and thigh and a couple of other shots look a lot better. Like I remember the Olympia in 2017 when he took seventh. That to me was the biggest and freakiest Nathan I've ever seen. That's when he was out in Q8. And yeah, he looked really good, really good. I think Nathan will win this again this weekend. I don't see Regan closing the gap. I mean, I spoke to Nathan last night, and he was literally eating asparagus while we're talking, And he was, he's focused, and he reckons he can be 10% better for this week. And he's kind of got his, even though he appears very confident, I feel like he actually said, I feel like I've really got my confidence back now. And this was before, this was after we've interviewed him before, and he seems so full of confidence. But I think now it's really confirmed, that he belongs back up there, and and the arms look good. Because I mean, think about what you got to overcome with those arms. I mean, tearing both your biceps. I mean, only to the BDI people like us, we could see a slight discrepancy in the left arm, but it didn't look like Dorian Yates did in '94. With halfway up the arm. So I think he'll win again. I think it's going to be a very similar way that it played out last weekend.
That also brings up the topic that we've spoken about many times. You've got your Olympia qualification, and I saw some of the comments on your video. The Regan fans, and he's got millions of fans. They're like, he's a bad guy. He should let Regan win this and get his. Let him win. This is bodybuilding. Every man is out for himself. Yeah, and he wants. Why would he let somebody else come and take that prize money and another win if he's fully capable of going and beating him? And if Regan can't beat Nathan here, he's not going to beat him at the Olympia. So, I mean, I have no sympathy for for that argument that you're supposed to get your qualification, then sit back and let somebody else get one. You don't let somebody else take anything in this sport because injuries happen, illnesses, all kinds of things. Nathan or any of these guys, it could be over for them tomorrow, their career. Get everything now while you can. It's not like you have a 30-year career as a pro bodybuilder. And, if he's that good and if he can pick up another paycheck, why the hell not?
Well, Nathan's. He's opening a second gym. He's got a family. He's got kids. He's. I asked him that question last week in the Global when the one episode 45, and I said, "Don't you feel like maybe if you win the first one, you're going to maybe the second one you're going to shut it down?" He went, "Nah, f that." He says, "No, I want to make some money." He said, "I want to make some money." He says, "I'm not going to be in this game forever."
Right.
So he says he's going to scoop up all the prize money. And the thing is, like he had last year out, so he's probably feeling a bit like he said to me in the end of the interview, you didn't see it in that clip that I posted, but he said, you know what? He says, working with Stefan, he says, I feel like I really, really love bodybuilding. I'm really excited about it again. He says, before, for a few years there, he said, I did it because I was good at it and I could make money at it. He said, but now I really got that passion back. He said, and you watch the interview in Global anyway, and he said, yeah, he says, and now I'm excited. He said, I really want to compete because he said, do you even see me up on stage? He says, he was like the first and last in the pose. He was holding his pose. He was really fierce. Although I think his posing could still do with a bit of work. Yeah. I think he needs to hold his pose. I think some of his posing was a little bit amateurish. I think that could do with some work. He could take a leaf out of Nick Walker's book, actually.
Yeah, Nick did improve. Yeah, I also saw some critiques about his structure. He does have a long waist. Yes, he does. But, so did Dexter. So did Dennis Wolf. Dexter won the Olympia. Yeah. Dennis took third at the Olympia, won an Arnold Classic. Regan does have a better structure, but Nathan has things. He has a quality to his muscles, a maturity, a level of detail and density that, Regan just doesn't have that yet. I believe he's only 29. I don't think he's even 30 yet. Oh. Maybe he's 30. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm sure he's not 40, but let's see if we can offer some hope to the Regan Grimes fans, because we both love Milos. I've spoken to Regan. I like Regan a lot. Is there anything he can do in the next few days to beat Nathan De Asha Sunday in Alicante?
All he can try and do is just try and get drier. That's it. Yeah. I mean, for me, I felt like Nathan really sealed the deal when he hit like his side chest, because then you could see the difference in the thickness in the chest, the shoulders, the muscle maturity, the density, the conditioning. And the thing is, Nathan was actually stood to the right and the lighting wasn't too good. Like I could barely see Blessing. Plus he only had two camera angles and one kind of cut Blessing off for most of his poses. So he was in kind of like the dark light. So I'm surprised he didn't move Regan and Nathan around and put Nathan in the better light, because I said to Derek, I said in the live stream review, I said, is Nathan too dark? And Derek said, no. He said, he's just in the shit light.
Yeah, they were, I was going back and forth with Milos about Regan, because I thought Regan looked tighter at the finals, which it wasn't even an hour. Do you realize that?
No, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I did an interview for Global, and then I thought I'll try and get Nathan tonight, because I usually get him when he gets home, because I know he flies back either that night or the next morning. Yeah. So I was doing I came off the live stream. And in my head, I didn't check the time. In my head, I had it as he was going to go back to the hotel and have a few hours and then come back. So I messaged Nathan. I said, Nathan, can I grab you for a quick interview? And he said, Giles, I'm backstage. He says, are you mad? He said, I'm backstage. I'm going back on it. When I put the live stream back on, he was actually back on stage. So he must have been stood there in his trunks messaging me saying, no, I'm literally going back on stage, because I didn't realize it was a run through. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, and they ripped right through those finals. Yeah. It was only top 5 for the other two divisions. It was a bikini and men's physique, and they only had top 5 posing routines for the open. Typically, it's top 10. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer, because
just top 5.
We didn't get to see.
Theo didn't get to pose. Tim Buttersheim didn't get to pose. Come on.
Yeah, and people were asking. I have some answers finally, because we didn't know the placings. They only did top 5, so it was Theo was 6th and Tim was 7th. So they were exactly where I thought. I thought they were just outside the top 5. But yeah,
I had Theo ahead of Blessing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I thought Theo looked, in conditioning was probably the best I've ever seen it. And he looked very, very polished. And I personally would have had him ahead of Blessing.
Yeah, Blessing's got a lot of work to do with those legs, and he's shutting it down, which is a good idea. I don't think it would have been a smart idea. It's not like he was going to do any better at this show. Yeah. Might have slid down a little bit more. And I see also the third place guy, Roman Fritz, is coming back. Roman looked phenomenal, well deserved. I thought after Regan and Nathan, you could have shuffled things around just a little bit, and it wouldn't
Yes.
have really upset too many people. But Roman in third place, he did look fantastic, and he's coming back again. It looked. I would not be surprised if it's exactly the same first, second, and third place. If
No.
Roman seems to be able to hold his condition week to week, no problem.
No.
But say some nice things about Roman because he's got a lot of fans who love him, and a lot of them were saying he should have. A lot of that you were seeing on the comments on my videos and stuff. A
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
his fans thought he had the win, which I never saw him beating Nathan or Regan, but and they were asking me why didn't he win, and here's what I come back with: it's really just structure. He was not blessed with clavicles out to here, like Regan and Nathan, especially Regan's got these wide ass clavicles. I think he has done a tremendous job with the structure that he has. He's built a lot of muscle. Would he had a hip replacement or two hip replacements or five? He's had a lot of hip replacements, maybe just one. I thought he looked fantastic, and he'll probably duplicate that same condition. And again, I would not be surprised. I don't see any other names added to this list that I'm like, oh no, they're going to upset the apple cart and beat these guys. So, yeah, do you see Roman most likely landing probably third again?
No.
No. What do you tell?
Liang, Shuming.
Liang, yeah,
I just
Schumann,
like if you notice, he wasn't brought out in the first call out, but
right.
Roman was and Blessing was, and I was like, okay, I'm really shocked to not see Theo and Shuming, Shuming or Liang. He changed his name.
Right.
I'm surprised to not see them in the first call out. When they brought Liang out and when he started posing, because obviously this is a new physique they've never probably seen before. I know he did Romania last year, but he's a completely different kettle of fish now. He's a completely different animal. And when he started posing, then things started popping. Then at the end, they brought him back for the not the top two, but in the third, fourth, fifth spot. And I thought, oh, and I had him third. I actually had Yang third. I thought he looked absolutely fantastic. So did Derek.
Yeah.
And but I could kind of see the way they were positioning Roman, the fact he was in the first call out. I thought, yeah, I did say actually in the live stream review, I said, yeah, they're probably going to give Roman third. But personally, I do have Schuming third because just frontal bicep, every single pose is ab and thigh. He was so much more polished and developed than last year. So he was my pick for third, and then obviously I'd probably have Roman fourth. But Roman looked good. He's always conditioned, but I think they go a bit too crazy on the conditioning in his glutes and his hams. It's like they see that and the judges just lose their minds. I personally, I wouldn't have Roman that high. I'm not going to say he's overrated,
Right.
but I wouldn't have had him in third. But I thought there was better physiques like Liang on the stage that day. But with me, I'd love to see a little bit more separation in his back. That's the one thing I'd like to see. He does have a nice structure,
Yeah.
but I think there was better men on the day.
That when I say could have shuffled either way, like had he taken third, I would have no problem with that. No
Yeah.
problem at all. Just massive, massive. And he had told you he was 240 pounds. Is that right?
I don't know about that.
Well, I
To
mean,
be honest, he looked kind of the same, not far off the same size he was last year when I saw him at 220 because he won the heavyweights at 100 kilos and he came on stage at 220. And then we were
right.
speculating whether he was going to do the 212. But I mean, to drop 8 pounds in a night, I mean, people have done it,
Sure.
but he didn't, and he went into the open and got fifth.
Yeah.
But I don't know whether he looked 20 pounds heavier because don't forget he's only 5'5", and I think 20 pound would be. I don't know. Maybe he was.
Mm,
I bet by the time he hit the stage, he was probably more like about 225, 230. I might be wrong,
right.
but I mean, overall, he was so much more polished and separated and professional and conditioned. He looked like he really belonged up there, And yeah, he really impressed me.
The last time we talked, he was only 5'3". Now he's 5'5".
He's grown two
Anyway,
inches.
well, let's just say he's not the tallest guy, but he's packed. He's like another Lee Priest, just packed. You can't imagine how someone put that much muscle on that frame, but he did it.
You see that
Congratulations, Lee.
shoulder bicep pose, the shoulders, and you could see his upper pecs from the side, from the
Yeah.
back. He's just
Yeah.
the guy is just bursting full of muscle, and it's quality muscle as well. I really dig that, especially on the short guys, his quads, his calves. I mean, God, there was so much to freak out over. I'm a huge fan.
He's someone he'd been posting up some pictures on like studio lit shots where it looks like it's AI because the lighting is so perfect. And they're thinking, oh, he doesn't really look like that. And then he got, because the quads, you can't believe he's really that big and round and full, but he is. That's a real human being.
He's a pretty freak. And that frontal bicep, I said to Derek, I said, it looks like one of the trophies. You know, when you see the trophies and they're just like exaggerated. Like
Right.
I've got one here actually on the shelf from Scotland.
Yeah, the best physiques I've ever seen in my life were those trophies. They're just, because they're just, you got one, yeah, they're like idealized versions of. There
That's
you go.
Liang. That's Liang. Hi,
Maybe
say hi. Hi, guys.
maybe bring in the waist. Waist isn't quite that small, but yeah, exactly. It's like a cartoon character. So let's talk about the other guys, Theo and Tim, because they both looked fantastic. Ran up against some bigger names and some guys who were better on that day, but I thought they both looked incredible at the show. They brought amazing condition. You and I are both fans of condition and presentation posing, and they're both very, very polished professionals. Very impressed with them. I'm glad they're both doing it again. And
Yeah,
I hope one of them cracks top 5 this time.
well, I think that's the first show in quite a few years that Theo's not made top 5, because I think he did 9 or 10 shows last year and they were all top 5.
Oh, that's
every
impressive.
single show he did, every single show he'd done, he made top 5. Even at the New York Pro, he got 4th there, didn't he? Yeah, Theo, I was really disappointed for Theo. I'd like to have seen him sneak in 5th. I would have put him ahead of Blessing person. I think he's a better physique, and I think he peaked a lot better. And the thing with Theo, he's so polished. His condition, his tan, he never shows up off or looking sloppy or, I mean, like I said, I'm a huge Theo fan, so I would have. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him in the top 5 for this one. Maybe 4th place, 5th place, something like that.
That's nickname. Grand Fromage. Is that right?
Big cheese.
The big cheese.
Yeah.
I hope that sticks. I like that. Yeah. Daryl Dixon show. It takes place in France. Have you watched the pilot yet?
What, sorry?
Daryl Dixon, the new Walking Dead series. It started Sunday night.
Oh no! I stopped watching it at bloody before Regan's throat got slashed.
So we can start watching it again. This is a good show.
Okay,
So
okay.
I wouldn't steer you wrong.
What channel?
It's on AMC, American Movie Channel. Yeah. Where were you watching Walking Dead? On what streaming service or channel before?
Oh, just on one of the UK terrestrial channels.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. I don't want to talk about too many more of the guys. We got some other guys from top 10. One name I was a little surprised to see here was Robert Bernica. Originally from Lithuania. He had just done the Masters Olympia.
Yeah.
And I'm just surprised he's doing it because I don't think that was anywhere near his best look at the Masters, but for whatever reason, yeah, he's in the show. So good luck to him. Maybe it was a condition thing, so maybe he's remedied that. Let's move on.
Can I quickly talk about, there's another guy that actually in the show, I forget where he placed, in Italy. And I tell you what, there's a guy with huge, huge potential. The arms and the quads on this guy, the Italian guy, Simone Bastanelli from Italy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I tell you what, there's a guy to keep an eye on. That's a guy with raw potential. I was looking at, because he was on the right, and all I could see was a leg. And me and Derek were like, "What the hell? Look at Quadzilla, man!" And then he came into the picture, and I was watching him. I was thinking, "Okay, he's not gonna make any sort of a dent here." But I tell you what, if that guy gets with a good coach or really starts, fixing some of those issues and stuff physically, another year or two, there's a guy you could really keep an eye on.
Well, he's in Italy. Give Mauro Sassi a call, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Mauro's an amazing coach. Patrick
Tour.
Working with him, I don't know. Say, does Patrick live in Italy now too?
Yes, he lives. No, Rome, isn't it? Rome.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. 2 awesome coaches right there in your own country.
On your doorstep.
Contact one of them. 212 division. Not a ton of names, but there's a couple guys here that.
Sorry, what? Sorry, mate. I've got to interrupt you. Fabio Lopez is in this show as well.
Oh yeah, I don't. It says Pablo Lopez.
Right, Pablo Lopez. He is very, very good. He's made top 5 in this show before, and he's rapidly improving. He's one of the up and comers in Spain at the moment, like that Jose Munoz, the 21-year-old, and the other guy whose name I keep forgetting, the big Instagram star guy. What's his name? Oh God,
he's got a great nickname. I know who you mean. I know exactly.
Yeah. I've actually written about him in my column. Hang on, probably.
Yeah. I think he's only like 20. Oh, there you go, Andrea Shaw.
Yeah, he's like 25. Hang on, I've got it here. Actually, I've got it here. Yeah, because I want to give this guy props because he's another. Oh no, I think it's next issue.
Oh, it hasn't even happened yet. That's going to be
issue before. Sorry.
It's going to be on the. Oh, it's the issue before. Okay,
gotcha. There he is. This guy here, Jean Pradels.
Oh yeah.
That guy. That's a 21-year-old.
Wow.
Jean Pradels. So there's these new guys coming up in Spain. I mean, it shows. I think it's a lot to do with the work that Emilio Martinez and his team is doing. The talent is starting to come through now in the open, and what all the good work they're doing over there with the shows and the sponsors and everything else. They're really kind of building bodybuilding since 2018. So, but this Fabio Lopez or whatever they call him, Pablo Lopez, he's really, really good. He'll probably be a second call out guy, probably top end.
So yeah, 212 bodybuilding. Two names stood out to me immediately. We got Dobromir Delev from Bulgaria. I always call him Dobry. He actually sent me a couple pictures and I never responded, so I apologize, Dobry. I think I was like out of my mind with pain at the time you sent the pictures. So I was like, I'm not responding to this right now. But Dobry, from originally from Bulgaria, well, he probably still lives in Bulgaria. Another guy who's just very, very thick, dense shoulders, arms, like not missing any body parts. Very, very dense, complete physique. I see him as a front runner, and the other guy I see is Dean White from the United Kingdom. Without knowing all these other names, those are two names that immediately stood out to me. Probably going to be in the battle for this win here at the 212 division.
Keep an eye out for Francisco Barrios.
Okay. Oh, is he in it? He wasn't on the list that I printed out.
Yeah, because he just took third.
Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. You're right. Oh, it's because his last name. When did he add that Vic? For all these years, I've been calling him Barrios, and now he's got this Vic on the end. No wonder.
Yeah, he got third. I forgot what show it was. He got third, didn't he? And he looked absolutely fantastic. Yep. So, and his condition was good, and he put a bit of size on since the last time he competed. And because I saw him when he turned pro in Spain in 21, maybe 21. Yeah, when him and Rob Cannon both turned pro in the amateur.
Yeah, that's right. And I know we already talked about this, but we met him. We had dinner with Patrick and I think a couple of Patrick's clients. I think Francisco was in the amateur Olympia that year, wasn't he?
That's right. Yeah, middleweight or something.
They called him the kid, and he was a kid. I think he was like 21 at the time. Yeah, babyface. His mom was sitting there. His mom's like my age. She was a very attractive woman. But he's put on a lot of size since then. Like I say, he was probably a middleweight then. Yeah, I'm sure he's put on a good 20 pounds of muscle since then.
Yeah.
Kept the same beautiful shape and lines of proportion. I still think he needs a little more size, but good Lord, he's got time on his side. Just a young whippersnapper, as we say.
He'll be top three. He'll be top three.
Absolutely. And classic, I wasn't even going to talk about because I hadn't seen the updated list, but you pointed out a very big name on that list. Wesley Vissers. That's my Wesley impression. I can't do it. I don't have the voice. He's got an amazing voice, that guy. Wesley, who was, where was he? 8th at the Olympia last year. Mm-hmm. Looked fantastic. The embodiment of classic physique. He's like 6'2" or 6'3". It's hard for me to tell. He is, right? You're 6 foot.
Taller than me, and I'm 6 foot.
And he's got, just huge fan base, great guy, beautiful voice. And I see him as a front runner, but also a German pastor who is he from France?
I don't know. What's this down the list?
I didn't print out classic, but I know he's not German. That would be too easy.
Spain. He's Spanish.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah. I'm surprised Jesus isn't doing it.
Who's that? Jesus?
Jesus.
His friend Jesus?
Yeah, the classic guy.
Oh, I didn't know we had a class. Oh, there, Jesus? I don't know.
Yeah, because he's from Spain. He's really, really good as well. He was in the Hungary show when I was at last year, the Fit Parade. Yeah. He won it. He won the classic. He beat Peter Molnar.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't, off the top of my head, I really can't picture German. Wesley versus German at their best. Who would you have winning?
Well, probably Wesley. Probably Wesley. Hammond's won a lot of shows. He's like really, like he's won in some as all the classic shows. They're all tough shows, but he's won some really, really tough classic shows, and he's won it quite outright as well. So those two are going to be the two that are really going to be going head to head. So yeah, they're really good.
We talk about divisions and how the lineups differ, because we've had open lineups this year. Some of the shows with 6 men. You're never going to see a classic physique lineup in a pro show with just 6 guys. Yeah. You won't ever see less than 15. It's more like 20, 30. Sometimes I think we've hit 40 at some of these pro shows already this year. So just to win a show, I know we're complaining. There's too many guys in the Olympia. There were 60 of them qualified. Logan had to drop out, but there would have been 60 guys on stage at the Classic Physique Olympia, but they all they definitely all earned their spot there because none of them got there by beating just a few guys or a weak lineup. Every classic lineup I've seen has been stacked. So,
Yep. Yep.
Want to
But
give people an idea.
I saw some pictures of Wesley, and he looks like, because he's working with Stefan. He's working with Boss of Outlaw,
It's
and
Kienzl.
yeah, and he's been posting some pictures as well, and they don't look filtered or any of that bullshit. But he looks, because he's in the last couple of years, Wesley's really like upgraded his conditioning and his like separation, his detail. He's really worked hard on that, and he's looking really like he's been bringing the condition every time the last, say, 4 or 5 times, whereas the first couple of years he struggled in 2018, 2019, didn't he? When we saw at the Arnold Classic, and he was like 10th or something, and he wasn't. It was just like shit. When that guy gets in condition, game over. But he's really started to nail it these last 2-3 years.
This is another guy who reminds me of Jay Cutler in a way that he's not. I know this is not related to the contest, but just for you guys out there who aspire to be pro bodybuilders, don't wait till you're done competing to start establishing a brand and a business.
Yeah.
Wesley's it's a vintage classic or something like vintage.
Vintage, yeah, vintage clothing, yeah.
Vintage class. I mean, he's been building this brand and his apparel and supplements and all this stuff for a few years. Very bright guy. So listen,
I got a lot of time for Wesley, and I love interviewing him. Actually, he's one of the most professional, easy guys to interview.
Yeah, don't you? You almost feel like he's interviewing you.
Yeah,
because he's got that voice. Yeah,
he's like he's got media or TV training or something. When you speak to someone and when you see these actors being interviewed for promos for films, and they've done it that many times, they're just so used to it. Wesley's like that. I think he's obviously, I don't know whether he's taking acting lessons or any sort of speaking lessons or something like that, but he's very he's got a presence. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like a persona that he's almost putting on, possibly with his voice and everything, but it works, and I find him very engaging.
I'm surprised he hasn't done any acting, or maybe he has, but God, I think he'd be great on a TV series or a streaming series or a movie, something. Come on, Wesley. He's busy. I know he's busy. He's got kids. He's doing the bodybuilding and all that, but he'd be great. So just to give people an idea of the schedule, I'm going to give you guys the times in Alicante, Spain. So wherever you are in this great world of ours, you can make your own adjustments. 9 a.m. They're going to be doing, they do it this way. They do prejudging and finals all together for these divisions: men's physique, women's bodybuilding, classic physique, women's physique, and figure. I assume there's going to be a little break, and they're going to come back at 5 p.m. for fitness, wellness, bikini, 212, and open. So this is a big show. This is a 10 division full on show. I will be doing wrap ups for. I won't be doing anything until Sunday, guys. So whoever wins on Saturday, I'll let you know. But Sunday, when it's all over, I'll try to do both judging, because last time I almost screwed myself over because I was doing a video wrapping up the judging, and by the time I was done, they were already getting into the posing for the men's open. Like, did they not? Was there no break? I don't think there was a break. I think
I had no idea when the I was up in the morning thinking the judging was in the morning.
Yeah.
And then I was messaging people that might know, and then someone says, "Oh no, they're not even going on stage till 5 p.m. your time." I'm like, "What?" I said, "Well, I've got to start filming Global at that time." I said, "So I'm a bit stuck." So I had to message you, thinking I was doing the prejudging one, and you were like, "No, I'll do both. I'll do both." I was like, "Oh, thank God for that."
Yeah, I mean the Sunday shows, which Europe seems to be firmly established to have their shows on Sunday. Well, because they all do an amateur part of it, usually on Friday and Saturday, pro qualifiers, and then Sunday is their pro part. So, typically I would have Giles hanging out with me and doing obviously I'd rather have you on it than do it by myself, but Sunday is the big day for Global Muscle, and you're very consistent with getting like the winners of these pro shows and great guests. I would not want to screw with that. We need Global Muscle. Very important. Every Wednesday morning, guys. Every Wednesday morning on this channel, MD Global Muscle.
Thank you. I mean, it does my head in when the show's on a Sunday, because I like to film on a Sunday, and sometimes I'll try and get them where I'm in between prejudging. It's always hit and miss, but I'll always have like 1 or 2 guests lined up that are definitely, that aren't competing that weekend or whatever, or competing in a few weeks, like I did this weekend. And then if like I did a really good episode, I thought, okay, I've got enough for an episode, and I thought I've got to get Nathan tomorrow, and I know he always goes back the next day. Messaged him, and he went, "Yep, no problem, mate. 7 p.m. last night, got him on." And yeah, it was great. It was great. It's funny because he was like 15 minutes late or whatever. And at the time we were having real technical issues that took 15 minutes to sort out. And it was like something I'd never experienced before. There were 2 or 3 things all went wrong at once.
No.
And as soon as he messaged saying, right, I'm ready, we fixed it.
Oh,
I
wow.
was like,
Perfect.
oh. And then I put the headphones on and the headphones snapped back and smacked me in the eyeball like that. And I was like, ah!
Oh,
Like,
got it.
there's no bruise, no bruise, no bruise. But
Head,
yeah, it was a really funny moment. It was really funny. Like Lauren was, she goes, "Oh, it's very stressful."
headphone accidents. Wow. So
Yeah,
people always ask about the live stream, and usually they're messaging me like, "Where's a?" They want to watch it for free. Guys, they have to charge for these things now. It costs them money to put the live stream on. So npceuropean.com is the website. And that's got a link to the schedule, the hotel, if you want to go there in person, if you happen to be in Spain, ticket info and all that. And of course, there's a link to get the live stream there. Haven't looked at the price yet, whatever it is. It's euros, dollars, I don't know.
Vigo
But
does a very good live stream, lots of camera angles.
I thought, you know what? I thought this Milan stream was very well done. Very well done. Compared to some of the ones I've seen, maybe maybe I'm just putting it comparing it to some poorly done live stream. But I when I can't see the condition of the guys, when the resolution is so bad, I can't tell if people are in shape, and that's been the case for some of these. And sometimes I'm not going to name names or shows. Sometimes it looks like they just stick an iPad on a table,
Which they did
pointed at
once.
this. They did, and they just leave it. There's
Yeah.
never it never zooms in. There's nothing. It's just like you're
Ron. There were 2 camera angles in Milan. There was one which was close in, and then there was one was too close and one was too far back. And that's all they had. They had no side angles. Like Prague, Hungary, that I was at doing the live stream. When I was doing the Hungary one, I was up in the balcony. I had my headset on doing the live stream commentary, and I was watching the guy next to me, and you should have seen the amount of equipment he had. And he had multiple cameras, because I was asking him, I was like, wow, look at your equipment, you know, your switches and stuff, because obviously I've got it in the studio, some of the stuff like that in the studio. And he had like multiple camera angles, and then he had a camera up on the balcony, and it actually he could operate the zoom from that. So he could like zoom in and literally like a remote control. I was like, okay, this is the future. Because it was like a proper live stream company that did it for sporting events, you know.
oh
So
wow.
yeah, and I was literally sat next to him all day, you know, both days. So and the one in Prague was really good as well, when they like the side angles of Crizo and everything. You can see the density of the physique, and there's also sometimes at Emilio's show he'll have a guy with a roaming camera who literally will run by the front of the stage and actually like in the pose down or follow them when they go into the audience. And it's like that kind of thing is really not just static cameras, but having a cameraman literally live filming, you know, following the athletes. I like that.
Gilco does that. So that's a company that does a lot of the pro shows in the US, Gilco. I think
Live.
they do such a good job that we're getting spoiled that we expect
Yeah.
that level of quality from everyone. And we're not going to get that out of every live stream, but they do a phenomenal job. But they were at some other show this past weekend. Yeah, live streaming. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting loopy, aren't I? Just a little bit of OxyContin, guys. It's prescribed. I'm not taking more than I'm supposed to, but it's helping a lot. It's helping a lot. Otherwise I'd be crying by now. And they wouldn't be tears of joy. Anyway, Giles, thank you so much. So we're doing this. This is going to appear after MD Global Muscle. So go back yesterday on this channel. Yeah, you have to travel back in time to go watch MD Global Muscle. And who did you have for guests on this one?
I had Nathan Diasha and Alfred Kidiak.
Alfred, is that how you say his name?
Kidiak, yeah. And we also had me and Derek did a bit of a live review of the prejudging. So we reviewed all the call outs.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. We didn't do the posing routines, all the finals, because it would have been too much, you know. But we just like a little 30-minute segment as like because obviously Derek's got the mic as well, and obviously Derek's got a good eye. Yeah. And it was good because we disagreed and stuff. You know, it was good. To be honest, I wouldn't mind doing a live stream with him actually one day at a show, you know, because he's really good actually. He's very honest. He's got a good eye, you know. Spotted it because he said he was really upset when Liang didn't get third.
I like the honesty aspect of it because I've seen some live streams where they're cheerleaders. There's like there's no critique of anything. It's like he looks great, she looks great. Okay, all right. Why do we have you here?
I got accused of being a cheerleader by one of the runner-ups competitors' wives.
Oh, geez.
Because you're a cheerleader, you shouldn't be a cheerleader. And I said, well, I thought he should win, and the guy that won. So that's why I'm not cheerleading for anyone. In fact, I know your husband better than I know this guy. So if I'm going to cheerlead and show bias, I'm going to show bias to your guy, which I didn't. So, but sometimes, you know, it's the wives and girlfriends sometimes can be not the most unbiased of people, ironically.
Isn't it funny how a lot of times we get accused of being biased, and it's exactly that situation where sometimes we're critiquing the people we know and the people that we know, and if we're going to be biased, it would have been toward this other person that we're critiquing, but they don't realize that. They don't know. They just, the wives and the girlfriends, they're definitely the most vocal and emotional when their husband or boyfriend or whatever doesn't do well, and or they get any kind of critique. I'm not going to name names, but I can
Go on.
distinctly remember. Well, I can't because
Go on.
for legal reasons I can't. But there
Yeah.
was one Olympia a couple of years ago where Sean Ray was doing the commentary.
Oh, I know what you
Um,
mean. I know
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
what
yeah.
you
And the wife at the time, they're no longer married. The wife of this competitor came running up to me in a rage as soon as the show was over. She goes, "Where's Sean Ray? I'm gonna go beat that mother effer's ass." I'm like, "Ooh, calm down." She's all of 110 pounds, this girl, but whatever. She was livid. Yeah, it happens. Oh, it's great that th're so supportive, isn't it?
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh man. All right. Well, that's going to do it, guys, for this MD 40-minute. It's not always an hour. An hour is a long time. I
Keep
can't
talking if
really.
you want. Oh,
No, I
I've
can't really.
only got loads of editing to do.
Yeah, we've got stuff to do, but appreciate it, Giles Tiger Thomas. Guys, check out his MD Global Muscle Show. And when's Buff Bombshell coming back?
Soon.
Soon.
Lauren's
Okay.
been working on her exam and everything, so it's out the way now.
Okay. Very well. But for now, you have that show, guys, every Wednesday morning. I'm going to get a great Ron line this week with Ian Valier. I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah. I have a lot of questions for Ian. A lot of
Yeah,
questions.
that was a shock on
Yeah.
it. That was a shock.
I told him this will be our last interview ever. So
Oh no, because
that's yeah,
32 and retired. I mean, well, I mean, if he feels like the passion's gone and he's done everything he wants to do, and his
exactly.
physique wasn't playing ball maybe, or where he wasn't feeling like he wanted to progress anymore, then the best thing to do is bow out.
Yeah. Dorian, I don't know how. I know Lee Haney was 32 with 8 Olympia titles. He retired.
31.
He was 31. Dorian wasn't much older than that, was he?
Yeah, he would have been actually. Yeah, he would have
Yeah.
been.
Dorian was only, I want to say, 33 when he retired.
Wow. Yeah, because
Yeah.
he was only in his 20s when he was up against Lee Haney in 91, wasn't he?
Yeah. And, yeah. So maybe 34, but they both got out. Well, before, they could have easily, Dorian could have kept going and
Yeah.
taken second, third, fifth, kind of like what we saw with Ronnie, but and Jay, even the same thing happened to him. So I actually like seeing people go out on top. I think it's an honorable way to exit the sport,
Yeah.
especially if your physique's not, it's not maybe never going to be for whatever issues. But I'll talk to him about it because I don't know. I don't know
I
what
mean,
happened with him.
we've seen guys that that were great, that kind of they slide, and they keep competing, trying. They up because the mind's there, the will's there, but the body's just saying no. You've injured me too much. You've battered me too much.
Yep.
I mean, I can think of a few names actually. Rich Kaspari was one. You had who was the other one? Oh, NASA. He probably should have retired maybe 2 or 3 years before. Maybe the thing is, you don't know until you get up there, do you? And it's like I said, I kind of admire the fact that they want to just keep going because they love it. Like Ronnie said, he said, if my body hadn't given up, he said, if Father Time hadn't caught up with me, he says, I would have just kept going and going and going because I loved it. He said that
Yeah.
to me many times, Ronnie. I said
Right.
that to me, a few times.
That's passion. That's someone who really loves.
He loved it.
He loved the sport. He was never in it for the money. He was never in it for the glory or nothing. It was just he loved it. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
buddy.
loved training. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you'll be talking to him soon. Anyway, that'll do it, guys, for this episode of MD Power Hour. Please, if you like the video, hit that thumbs up thing to show us you like it. Share the video on your social media platforms. Let other people know what it's all about. And of course, turn on your notifications on YouTube and on your phone so you know when we have all our great videos. Sunday, I will be going live, not from Spain. I'll be here in Boston, but to cover the Spain show, give you guys a quick insight as to who's doing what. And that's it. So thank you guys all for watching MD Power Hour with Giles Tiger Thomas and myself. We'll see you next time.